though I walk through the valley of death. I'm just one of many killers that's a part of the set. Y'all be talking out your ass like it's none of us left. You must be higher than giraffe pussy, hey what's next? Y'all don't really want the competition taking the belt. I'd rather die than take an L, y'all don't know how I felt. I be murdering the game, you just play with yourself. You kinda wanna say my name, but you got no help. I believe in Mr. Chaos, I'm rocking the bells, but it's dinner time, fucker, I'ma help myself. I don't want one bite, bitch, I came for the plate, cause I'm hungry like a dude with no food for a day. I ain't really wanna snap, but you rappers on the way down. I'ma fight till my last breath, never lay down. Hear you talking shit, but I don't care what you say now. Hustle till I hit $1 billion any day now. I'm just on this podcast tip to hit a lick, while you mumble mouth rappers on your knees suck a dick. Claim to be a fighter, but we know that you's a bitch. Half you hoes ain't even writing all the lyrics that you spit. I've been putting in work, but y'all don't know what it is to work a 90-hour week just to feed your kids. I've been down in the gutter, fight my way to the top. Thanking God for all my people who ain't letting me stop. 24 balls in and I'm only getting better, ho. Sticking up the whole rap game, let the cheddar go, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, sorry I had my mic off mute. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another amazing episode of the Chaos Theory Podcast. My name is Mr. Chaos. Tonight I have a special guest with me. If you guys have been watching the last couple of weeks, I've been very, very blessed to have an amazing selection of guests coming from the Hybrid School of Wrestling. I've had Maddie Rinkowski. I've had Brandon Weiss. I've had Casey Black Rose Martinez. I've had Mel from Mission Pro, who has a relationship with the Hybrid School of Wrestling. Tonight, I have a chance to talk to and get to know another fantastic up-and-coming young man from the Hybrid School of Wrestling. Somebody who I guarantee you, if you haven't seen his shit yet, you're going to want to go on YouTube and find all the Drew Who clips that you possibly can. This man is about to make a ginormous difference in the world of Texas wrestling, and within the near future, very possibly of big promotion wrestling. My guest tonight, I just said his name, Drew Who. What's up, Drew? How you doing, brother?
What's up, man? That was
a hell of a introduction.
I'm glad you like it, man. You guys, like I said, I've been fortunate enough to get to know some of you guys from Hybrid, and man, your trainers do a fantastic job on. I've seen your in-ring stuff, but they teach you guys how to be professional outside of the ring, which is a huge, huge thing that I don't think a lot of talent gets anymore.
Yeah. That was big on my part.
Even coming into this business, I went to a high school. I mean, growing up, respect was, on top of my list everywhere I went. And this I'm not saying made it easy, but that's what the business is all about. Just respect, I don't care what type of level you are or whatever. It's respect, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, guys, if you've watched this far, if you watched all of my interviews so far with the Hybrid guys, Chris Marvel, Sho Funaki are the two lead trainers at Hybrid School of Wrestling, based here in San Antonio. Shout out. And everybody I've interviewed so far, Maddie has been amazing. Brandon has been amazing. Casey has been amazing. Week after next, I have the Cult of Crowley coming on. So I'm very lucky to start this relationship with these guys. And what has it been like for you training in a place that obviously is run so professionally?
It's so well organized.
I just love it. The day I joined, it was still to this day, still very organized, like I just said. And just adding Funaki to it, Sho Funaki, just, I guess you can say, puts the cherry on top, So I just love how, like I just said, everything's organized. We come in here, we know right away what to do. We're not just all over the place, you know. So yeah,
Yeah, you guys have had some stars come out of hybrid too. Like Maddie is blowing up. Maddie is on her way to God knows where she's gonna go.
To the
Casey,
moon. That's where she's going.
absolutely. Casey Blackrose is doing a River City Wrestling show
Yeah.
here shortly. That kid, I'm a giant fan just of the person and of the wrestler. And then watching your matches, I'm a giant fan of yours. And then the interaction we've had on Twitter as well. You guys don't know this, but Drew was one of the first people to reach out when I kind of open the doors to the show for independent wrestlers. Drew was one of the first people in my DM saying, "Hey, I'd love to come on. I'd love to come on," and has always been good to me. And then Crowley and Lilith, same thing, have been great to me. And everything I tweet or they're replying or they're retweeting, and so it's been cool to get to know some of you guys from Hybrid. From the class that you're in, that the group of people that you're in, if you had to choose one person for the world to keep their eyes on, who would it be besides yourself?
You put me in a
tight spot here, man. I'm about to get heat. Man, if I had to choose one,
he is doing really great right now.
like you just said in the beginning, he's honestly, I think he's only had like 10 matches, and even at that, and that's crazy when you actually think about it. I could name a whole list. You know, we got Casey, we got Trinidad, Alexander Crowley, obviously, David Kidd. We also got newcomers coming up that y'all don't know who they are, but eventually you will know who they are.
I'm just grateful for
a lot of great talent coming out of this school.
It's not just one person.
It's not two. It's a good handful, 2 handfuls.
So
yeah, man, grateful for all these people who
we guide each other,
and here we are killing it.
So out of the lessons that Funaki and Chris have taught you guys, what's something that you'll forever remember, no matter where you go, AEW, WWE, Japan, Germany, wherever you go? What's one thing that those guys have taught you that you're like, yep, that's going to stick with me for the rest of my life?
Slow it down,
kid. Slow it down, because I mean, everybody still does it. Nobody's perfect. I'll forever say that. That's another thing I'll forever say that they've taught me. Nobody's perfect.
It's just slow things down.
You see it everywhere. Everybody's going 100 miles per hour. And that leads to accidents. That leads to, I guess you could say, those botches, whatever. But that's the thing. That's the term that's going to be stuck in my head till probably the day I die. It's going to be slow down. Don't rush, you know. So that's going to be just stuck in my head.
It's funny that you say that. I was in the Army for 10 years, and we had a saying in the Army: slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
Yep.
And it sounds like just in wrestling. If you take your time and you do everything right, it may be a little bit slower. It may not be as quick and as bang as you want it to be. But one, it's going to look a lot better. It's going to be a lot safer. And then 2, it's going to be a lot more believable for people.
Yep. Because a lot of times you see, I mean, no disrespect to any talent that,
you know, goes 100 miles per hour. But you see a lot of, when you do that, when performers are doing that, you see a lot of this, you know, back the fans are like, oh, I can't keep up, you know. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. That's why I prefer to slow it down than get back up, slow it down, you know. That type of, I guess you could say, psychology is just going to be stuck in my head.
Yeah, I am a big fan. I talked about this with Casey. I'm a big fan of psychology, and you know, there has to be a reason why you're doing something.
Yeah.
Just because you can jump off, you can do a springboard 630 into the outside. Does it fit where you're doing it at? Is there a reason why you're doing it? Or are you doing it, pardon the language, but just to show your dick to everybody? Like, if it doesn't make sense, it's cool and it looks great and you're going to get that 2-second pop. But after the match is done, me as a fan, I'm going to be like, okay, it was an exhibition match. There's nothing that big about it.
Yeah.
What do you think you do the best aside from now slowing it down? What do you think you do the best inside the ring where fans should take notice and say, oh, that's a Drew thing?
Before,
I was not aggressive.
I think my
Aggressiveness has gone
better tons. You know,
I've noticed that actually. It's funny as you said that. I've noticed that lately. 'Cause before I started, I was not as aggressive, and now I'm just a whole different person. It just goes back to the end of the day being comfortable.
being confident. When I first started, man, I didn't get confident.
Confident until like early 2020, honestly, and I was already like
Wrestling for a year, so it took
took me a while to get that aggressiveness, that confidence. Oh, I got this. I'm not saying it's easy. Nothing's easy. I'm just saying
it took a while to get that confidence.
Yeah, I mean, confidence coming from in the ring, in the military, wherever it's come from, you have to earn that confidence. It's not something that there's a difference between being cocky and being confident.
Oh yeah.
Cocky people get people hurt.
I always say that, man. Like I think I say that more
to my friends because my friends always ask me about wrestling and stuff, and
when I talk to them about it.
they always say, "Man, you're kind of cocky." I'm like, "Nah, man. Like he just said, there's a difference between cockiness and confident, man."
That's you said it on point.
Yeah, it takes a confident dude, one, to get out there in spandex and just to be out in the ring in front of people in spandex. But it also takes a confident dude to go out there and we'll be 100. This podcast is all about keeping it 100, right? What you guys do is largely entertainment. It's very dangerous. It's very, very physical, but it is an entertainment thing more so than a sport, right? So it takes a certain confidence for you to get out to the ring and in your head think, oh, I can have these fucking people eating out of the palm of my hand. Ooh, besides yourself, is one person that when you watch their match, whether you're in with them or you're just as an observer, that you work with, that you're like, damn, this guy has the crowd wherever he wants them, or she.
That's definitely. There's two people that
comes to mind.
Brandon and Casey. Brandon
is God, man. When it comes to working the crowd, he's a king of it. No pun intended. Flamingo King, but he's a king of it. There's been times, man, when I first worked with him. I was so nervous. I don't know if the crowd's gonna like me. He's like, oh no, they're gonna. Don't worry, I'll get them to love you. And I didn't know what that meant at the beginning, but
Brandon's a whole other
level of working the crowd, in my opinion. Casey in the ring, man, like we just said in the beginning, his confidence is through the roof right now. So that's big plus for him, and I hope he
keeps that. And again, they're go to the moon.
Yeah, I mean Casey is on his grind. Like this kid is 24 years old. If you guys don't know Casey Blackrose, you need to look him up. That dude, within a year or 2 years, I'd be willing to put money that he's going to be in ROH or New Japan or Impact or something like that. The dude is killing the game right now, and it doesn't hurt. Look, I'm a giant fan of Crowley and Lilith, so having him with them definitely doesn't hurt at all.
Yeah, man. I mean, it goes. Everybody's different. Casey first started. I mean,
like I said, everybody's different. Casey first started. It's a bit slow, not physically wise, but he was trying to get it. And then soon, when I would say he moved to, I guess, advanced ring, he started getting it. He started getting it. I was like, damn, this kid.
What the hell?
So Yeah, man, they're gonna kill it.
It's only a matter of time before one of us gets signed. You know.
Oh, I mean, it's 100% a matter of time, and a lot of it. You guys are everybody that I've talked to and everybody that I've dealt with are great workers.
Mhm.
But it goes back to what I was talking about in the beginning. From a fan's perspective, I would rather put my money into somebody who's learning how to work, but is a good human being than somebody who can work their ass off, but is a douchebag.
Yeah.
And it seems that you guys at Hybrid have learned that really, like it was pushed into you guys. Like, look, the wrestling thing is huge, but just as big is being a decent person.
Yeah, man, that goes a long way.
Like you just said, it can be like, oh, if let's just say I wrestle you, you're a tremendous athlete in the ring, but in the back we just treat each other like crap, you know, or you treat me like crap, or I treat you like crap. So at the end of the day, like you said, personality goes a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. So Hybrid's getting enough stroke for me for now. Let's talk about Drew. Who is Drew? Who? I mean, the gimmick is dope because it leaves you so open ended to being a heel, to being a baby, to being a tweener, to being whatever you want to be. But in your mind, in Drew's mind, who is that character?
You know, at the beginning, like AO goes
It goes back to the confidence, man. I'm just a confident.
person. Um, Again, when I started, nowhere near that. And now, when you see Drew in the ring,
You're gonna see
who I can be,
who what type of
person I can be, because he's either, like you said, a good side.
the best side.
I don't know. You just gotta find out and watch.
Watch.
Absolutely. I mean, look, guys, y'all need to go look up some Drew Who stuff. And going back to Hybrid for a second, they've got a show coming up July 31st, right?
24th.
24th, July 24th. Sorry, wrong date. I get
You're good.
confused with Bishop Pro, as you can tell, Thunder Rosa.
Yeah.
But they have a July 24th show that's it's it's benefiting veterans or something like that. I'm kind of spacing on the whole details. Um y'all need to, man, support indie wrestling. If you are in San Antonio, if you're in Texas listening to me, literally Eckert Street, right downtown, not even downtown, right off of 410 and Bandera, Eckert Street. I've literally passed their school 8 billion times a week because I work down there. Support indie wrestling. They've got really cool, Hybrid has really cool shit coming up. Texas wrestling in general has really cool shit coming up. But Hybrid has some really cool people that if you start paying attention to, and you can say, oh, I was there when Drew did this and that and this and that, and now he's here, or I was here when Casey did. It's a cool opportunity to get into and support some really cool people. So what I want to get into now is, are you native San Antonian? How did you get into the wrestling? You know, what brought you into the lifestyle?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm born and
Raised here. Um,
it's kind of funny and interesting.
Interesting because most people they're like, oh, I started watching WWF, WWE. I started watching TNA, man, in 06 and 07. That was the first thing I started watching. I remember I was over at my uncle's house and he's just scrolling the channels and he came, Impact Wrestling. It was AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe, and the list goes on and on. And then I would say about a month later or two, I started watching WWE. So that's how I came about in it. Although before that, I remember growing up at a very, very young age. My Theo,
He was watching wrestling.
but it was in Spanish, so I don't know what the hell was going on. so, uh, but yeah, it was basically TNA. Honestly, that's when I started watching it.
Around like
14, 15, I was like, I feel like I can do this. I played sports all my life. I'm not saying I'm extremely athletic, but I've pretty much
been in athletic shape majority of my life, I guess you can say. But again, it's funny how it comes full circle.
How it all started. I remember emailing and messaging Funaki when he had his own school, Funaki Dojo, and 20 and early 2017 or summer 2017. I still have the emails. I still have the screenshots of emailing, hey, can I join your wrestling school? This and that. And then I found Hybrid around, around fall of 2017. That's when I joined, and now he's one of our head coaches. So,
Dude, you picked a really cool era of wrestling, like prime TNA. I'm talking
Oh, yeah.
AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels, or
Yes,
hell,
sir.
even before they became a tag team, we're talking Triple X with Christopher Daniels and Elix Skipper, and Loki,
Yeah.
Samoa Joe, AJ, and Christopher Daniels in a triple threat match. Samoa Joe versus Kurt Angle, like that's a fucking. As a fan, that's one of the eras where I'm like,
You can
they're
see why
never
I'm
gonna be able to do that again.
yeah, man. Like AJ Styles is top tier for me. Again, he's the reason why I'm into wrestling because he's one of the first people I started watching. Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, those are the first two guys that I was always at the edge
To my seat.
Yeah, I mean, AJ for me, like, there's so many classic matches from TNA. There's so much shit that I mean, one, the first company in the US to use a six-sided ring. That's it was bananas. And then you had guys like, excuse me, you had guys like Monty Brown doing the pounce. Like nobody had ever seen a pounce used as a finisher before. And just you're like, oh, this dude is really like 6'6" and 280, and if he shoulder tackled you, he'd knock your fucking head off.
Oh yeah.
It was such that's a dope ass time, to be a fan, because TNA, early TNA, if you guys haven't watched TNA who are watching, go back and watch 05, 06, 07. It's legit some of the best wrestling in the history of the business. I mean, you had Jeff Jarrett was on his grind, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, James Storm, Bobby Roode, Eric Young, Abyss, Samoa Joe, Prince Iaukea was there, early CM Punk. I mean, early Daniel Bryan. Like everybody you guys have ever liked in wrestling went through early TNA.
Yeah.
It's, it's such a great time to be a fan. So now, are you still currently watching the product outside of Hybrid, or is it something where you're like, I'm in it, I kind of know how the sausage is made, and I kind of backed away from it?
That's funny as you said that.
Because I'm kind of in the middle. There's some weeks and some days where I watch it, and there's a lot of days actually where I'm just, like you just said,
It's kind of the same. It depends what catches my eye.
I'm not gonna lie.
I prefer watching indies. You know, that's just me, man.
I love. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying WWE, AEW, and all those sports are bad. It's just, I don't know. It's just indies.
Are on my eyes right now. My eyes. So
What's up, Ryan? Thanks for coming over from the Mission Pro stream. I appreciate you being here, brother. Yeah, I'm kind of getting the same way. Like until I until I found Thunder Rosa, I was never really an indie guy. Like I was a WWE, TNA, WCW, big company guy. And then I found Thunder Rosa, and I found Mission Pro, and I was like, what the fuck have I been missing? That you mean these people are wrestling like this on the indies? What the fuck is going on?
mm-hmm.
And now I'm watching Hybrid School of Wrestling. I'm watching there's a promotion out of Arlington called Pele, River City Wrestling here in San Antonio, PPW in Kingsville, like all this stuff now where I'm like trying to build relationships and hyping these guys up and promoting guys, because right now, dude, indie look, if you guys aren't watching independent wrestling right now, you're doing yourself a disservice. If you're pissed off at WWE for stupid storylines, if you hate what AEW is doing, which a lot of people do, and a lot of people hate the WWE, you have literally millions of choices right now. It's the coolest time in the world to be a fan of wrestling, because you have guys like Drew and Casey and Crowley and Lilith and all these people that are coming up and changing the scene. That it used to be, you used to have to be 6'4" and John Cena to break in. You don't have to be that anymore. And indie wrestling, independent wrestling, is over now more than it has been in probably 10 years. So that's got to be, as an indie fan, that's got to make you go, fuck yeah, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy because I'll be the first one. I'm
Pretty sure I'm not the first one, actually. Texas wrestling in general is just on fire.
I would, like, my opinion, man. Out of the whole United States,
Texas is red hot right now. You got so many promotions. You got so much talent here. It's honestly insane.
it really is. It's like, damn,
Like,
where all these people come from?
but
Red hot right now.
now, and it's gonna stay like that for a very, very long time.
Yeah, I mean, and the crazy thing is you have legit WWE Hall of Famers here in Texas that have their own promotions. Funaki
Yep.
he's not a Hall of Famer yet. That dude needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah.
Booker T, two-time WWE Hall of Fame, running up in Houston.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels used to have a school out here. I mean, there's guys who have been to literally the biggest shows in WrestleMania and have main evented or have been on the card at a WrestleMania, and you're getting that knowledge here in Texas. So right now, from a fan's perspective and from somebody who's kind of forming relationships with some of the promotions, it's got to be a really fucking cool time for you to sit back, not only as a worker, but as a fan, and say, oh shit, like
Yeah.
there's so much opportunity right now.
It's crazy because
My coaches were talking, or Coach
Chris Marvel was talking about
that. He's like, man, I wish I had all this.
me into this. There's all these people coming in. Yeah, we're just fortunate. We're grateful. Yeah, man. He just told us that recently.
Actually, a couple weeks ago, that he just wished he had all this. He had all these great talent here, and to just drop knowledge.
Yeah, and Ryan, you're 100% right. Texas wrestlers are, especially the ones I've met here in San Antonio so far, have been great, just great people. And I think that's what makes Texas different than most states in the country. Texas is this whole different place. If you're watching from outside of Texas, come down here. Nobody does barbecue like we do. Nobody does sweet tea like we do. Nobody does professional wrestling like we do. I mean, you got to think, we have two of the legendary wrestling families in history are from Texas. The Von Erichs from Dallas and the Guerreros from El Paso. There's the wrestling tradition is so steeped in Texas. And now, this is what I wanted to ask. With that kind of tradition, you're a Texas boy, born and raised, like you said, knowing the tradition that Texas has for wrestling, does that weigh on your shoulders? As in, when you get into the ring, does it make you say, I have to represent properly for the generations that came before me?
I feel like it does, honestly, because you have a lot of
Hardcore fans, if you wrestle outside the state, and they say, oh, he's from San Antonio, Texas, or Texas in general, they're gonna be like, oh, that's where the Von Erichs came from. That's where so and so came from. That's where, so he's pretty good then.
So I'm pretty sure you hear a lot of that.
You pretty sure you hear that
From like Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Other
New York.
countries like the UK. So
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a big responsibility. I had a luchadora named Sweet Storm on here a couple of months ago now, and she's from El Paso. And I asked her the same question. You're from the city of the Guerreros, like that is always going to be the home of the Guerreros.
Yeah.
What is the pressure like for you? And she said, dude, she was like, literally, when I pull my mask on, it feels like I have the weight of my family and the weight of the Guerreros going on top of my head. And it's like, how does that not crush you? And she reminded me of something. Pressure does one of two things. It either busts pipes or it makes diamonds.
I like that. Never heard
And
of that. I like that.
she, dude, yeah, she's insane. Um, San Antonio is also known for one of the biggest Hall of Famers in the WWE, Shawn Michaels.
Michael. Yeah.
This is literally hometown. I live right down the street from the base where his dad used to serve at.
Cool.
It's got to be, as a worker, it's got to be like almost surreal sometimes to sit back and think like, and when you're in the ring, you got to focus on being in the ring. But when you're outside of the ring, when you're inside the locker room, and you just kind of have that second to yourself, it's got to be, the thoughts have got to be coming like, wow, I'm literally doing what Shawn Michaels used to do. I'm doing what the Von Erichs used to do. I'm doing what Eddie used to do.
That my friends back in middle school and high school. I mean, I feel like we all have the same story growing up. Nobody really believed we're gonna do. We're gonna chase our dream, and then now, growing up, I would tell them, I want to be a wrestler, and they always say, "Oh, so you want to be like Shawn Michaels since he's from here, right?" And I'm like, "Yep, I want to be that level, I guess you could say." Nowadays, like I said before, nobody really believed in me growing up. Nobody really, except for my family and close friends. But now I get all these text messages and other messages saying that, hey, you do what you're gonna do. Congrats. And again, I'm not trying to be, I guess you can say, an ass, but I just ignore it because where were you when I was saying this growing up? So I take that to heart. Um,
Yeah, you kind of have to, man. Like, I'm a little bit older than you, but for me, it was going in the military. And I would tell people, oh, I was a small kid. I was like 5'6" and 119 pounds in high school. And people were like, what the fuck are you talking about going into the army? Get the fuck out of here. And then I did it. And 10 years later, I medically retired. And I'm, a tour in Iraq and a tour in Afghanistan. And people would be like, oh, we're so proud of you and this, that, and the third. And it's nice to hear. But at the same time, like you said, in the back of my head, I was like, okay, fucker, where were you 10 years ago?
yeah.
Like,
I
come
have
on.
a friend of mine. I'm not gonna lie. I talked to him in so high school. I'm not saying I was the closest to him. I'm not saying he was my best friend, but I remember I had a friend in high school who would always play music. He was always into music, and just recently he released his first couple, like 2 songs. I think I posted about it on my Instagram story. It goes by Jay Nava. That type of stuff, man. Again, I just take to heart. I noticed that in high school that he was always playing piano during like art class because they let him because he got all his work done fast and quick. So I saw that he always played piano. He always asked people's opinion. Hey, is this good? Is this not? And some people would ignore him, and some people would, take the time and talk to him. So I admire that type of stuff. I noticed that stuff. So
What? Okay. So if high school, middle school Drew could see grown up Drew, who's now kicking ass, getting his ass kicked, taking bumps, getting bruised, getting hurt, how blown would your mind in high school be like, oh my god, I actually fucking did it?
uh, I guess right now it's be lost for words because the old Drew, man, like I played sports all my life until I was like 13. And then after that, I just didn't care anymore. I didn't really do much. I guess you could say I had fun. You know what a teenager's supposed to do. I had fun. I stayed up all night to play Xbox with my friends. You know, it out, whatever. And when I would try new things, I just basically would just give up. And just like you just said, I would just have no, I would have no words to see my old self, to see how I am now. It's, I guess you can say people don't really know how far I've come. Mentally, personality, yeah.
Well, it's dope. It's always dope to look back and say, okay, this is what I thought, and I did that, and you manifested what you wanted to do. So now let's talk about a little bit of future manifesting. I always ask all of my guests, let's talk about future goals, where you want to be in 5 and 10 years. Let's take the WWE Hall of Fame and kind of push that to the side. That should be maybe not everybody's goal, but that's something that everybody wants to do, right?
Yeah.
So let's kind of push that aside. In the next 5 years, where do you want to take Drew Who? Where do you want to be in 5 years? And you can look back and say, I did that shit.
I definitely want to be worldwide, man. I want to be all over. Again, like I mean, I've said this, we've all said this before. Texas is a hot spot, but eventually, I want to get out of that. I'm not gonna lie. I want to go nationwide. Japan, man, is the goal. UK, just like I said, worldwide. That's my goal for the next 5 years. And yeah, it'll be cool to get signed and stuff. That's the top of my list. But I also want to experience going around the world, different promotions. Yeah, just experience.
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing about pro wrestling is it's supposed to suspend disbelief from people. It's supposed to look like a fight. It's supposed to look like you're kicking ass and you're getting your ass kicked, right?
Mhm.
And learning one style, learning the American style of pro wrestling is cool. Learning where the hard cam is and learning how to, work a crowd psychologically is cool. But now let's see, can you add lucha to your game? Or can you add British strong style to your game? Or can you add Japanese strong style to your game? Or can you learn the European psychology instead of just the American psychology? I think that makes it makes you a better, not just a wrestler, but a better overall performer when you can take that. You can take the different things that different countries and different promotions have to offer, and you can say, "Oh, I'm going to steal this," or "No, I don't ever want to do that. That shit wouldn't work for me." When you look out, it doesn't have to be WWE or AEW, but when you look out on the road and you see other workers that are traveling, who's somebody where you're like, okay, like I'm, how do I put this? Who's somebody that makes you go, God damn it, that dude busted his ass, but look where he's at now?
Damn, there's a lot of people I can just think of. Shoot, man. I mean,
Give me 3 or
when I
4.
when I broke into this business, uh, Gino, Gino Medina, Gino Medina, man, ASF, shoot, Mysterious Q, all these tremendous athletes and all around talent, not just uh, man, he got me in a hole here. There's so much I can just name. Uh, Gino is definitely the top of my list. I remember joining this business. I think, don't quote me on this, but I think he was just kind of starting out. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But to see where he is now, to see the pops he gets every time he goes to the curd, he's a man.
Yeah. Ryan's got Will All Day, Izzy
Oh, yeah,
James.
all day. Mm-hmm.
These are guys that I'm literally just learning about myself.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I mean these guys, like I said, I'm very new to the independent wrestling scene. So when when I see a guy like what the hell is that guy's name that just got signed to NXT? Parker Bordeaux. People are making this giant hype about him, and I'm like, okay, I'll see. I don't.
I gotta see him too now.
He's like what is he calls himself the destroyer of gods. He's like a he's like a younger Brock Lesnar is what they compare him to.
Oh, okay, I know him. I know him.
Yeah.
I know that guy.
Yeah, and there's stuff where I'm like, okay, I don't know him. But now, like I said, like we talked about 10 minutes ago, it's such a dope ass time to be a fan because now I can look up a Drew Who and see hybrid clips, or I can look up a Will All Day. I can look up a Izzy James and figure these guys out and see, okay, I like that. Or he's not really my speed, or like, you know, there's things out there that I'm just not a fan of, like death matches. Not really my thing. I don't knock anybody for doing death matches. It's just not for me, right? You know what? I have a weird question, and it's if okay. So intergender wrestling is coming back really, really crazy right now, and I'm with it just because hey, let's be 100% equal, and everybody's a wrestler. Fuck it, men, women, everybody. I'm with that 100%. So if one woman right now, independent, main, doesn't matter. If tomorrow you could have a match with one woman, who would it be?
I have yet to work. I can remember last time I locked up or done anything with her, but definitely Maddie. We graduated together, but man, to be honest, I don't know if we trained together.
Again, I can't remember the last time. Everybody pretty much had a piece of her here, so I have yet to
face her. So definitely Maddie.
That could be dope. I'm talk about being a mark. I'm a mark for Maddie. She did the show when she was amazing as a human being. Her character development, like, and that's the one thing I noticed about Maddie really, really well, is her character she knows who the fuck she is. She knows like when Maddie goes through the ropes, Maddie knows who the fuck Maddie is. And it's so dope because you have, and you're a fan, so I know you've seen this too. You have guys who go in there and can kick ass and take names and do 630s and do crazy inverted frog splashes and all that crazy shit. But their character, they don't know who the fuck their character is. And everybody's finding something and everybody's tweaking stuff, so that's cool. Maddie knows who the fuck Maddie is. And it's one of my favorite things about her because it's just so dope for her to be so young in the business, and she's like, fuck you. I know who I am. It's so amazing to me.
When she first started, I mean, all of it, again, almost perfect. Goes back to that. We all started like shy. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know what to say. And she was like that too. And then out of nowhere, like this, she turned on the light switch. It just hit her. Like, where did that come from? You know? So, yeah, man, Maddie is killing it. I don't see, I mean, I'm not going to start race here or I'm not going to start any shit or anything, but I don't know why she's not signed yet. That's just my opinion. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know why she's not signed. There's a bunch of women on the indies that are not signed that really bugs me. Like Holiday isn't signed. And I'm like, what the fuck? That woman is killing everybody right now.
Holiday, Alex Gracia,
Roxy, shoot, man, Rose. Yeah, you have a lot of people that you're like, man, how come they're not, up there? How come they're not everywhere? So.
Yeah, but like I said, like we were saying in the beginning, the dope thing about it is now you don't have to be at a major company to get. I mean, look, cameos all over the place, Instagram and selling merch, and everybody's got a big cartel and all of that stuff. These guys are busting their pardon my language, they're busting their balls to get where they're at, and it's now they're getting known on a nationwide level. Genocide's now doing stuff with NWA. Holodead just went and had her AEW Dark debut. Rosa Negra from Mission Pro. Oh my God, if y'all don't know who she is, best frog splash in the game. I don't care what anybody says. It's so dope that now the independent wrestlers you don't have to go necessarily work as an extra for WWE, or you don't have to go and wait for an opportunity to be on camera for AEW, because with places like a Title Match Network, you have the opportunity to be on camera and not have to worry about working in one place. So you mentioned Japan. Who I keep having you single these out, but right now you have a really good selection of people to work in Japan. Once you get over there, is there somebody that you're watching where you're like, "Ooh, we can make super money together"?
I mean, it's a long shot. It's a dream opponent. Definitely Okada, man. I discovered Japan really late. Not gonna lie, like New Japan Pro Wrestling and all the other promotions. I discovered it late, and the first person I saw was Okada, and I was like, dude, this guy. I know, like you just said, it's not just WWE, AEW to make you out there, but this guy should be legit everywhere, in my opinion. Yeah, Okada's definitely top of my list.
Yeah, man, that guy. I talked to, it was either Brandon or Casey about um why is my head Ibushi, Kota Ibushi.
Oh yeah.
Dude, you two could make some dumb money together. Like, you guys would have, what I like about watching like Hybrid is because the shows are smaller and I see him on YouTube, I can kind of pause and say, okay, this is where he's going, or this is where he came from, and I can kind of analyze just from a fan's perspective. And your style seems to match up really, really well with a Kota Ibushi, where he can do all that fancy. He can go and dive over the top ropes and do all the high risk shit, but he doesn't have to. He can slow it down and work a crazy psychological match. You two could be that would be a dope ass match to watch.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I guess you could say I love bringing the competition against high flyers, man. I can I'm not saying I can do a 450. I'm not saying I can do a moonsault. Man, get me in there with a high flyer and definitely get see some surprises out of me.
Yeah, and I think that's makes a dope wrestler, somebody who can adapt to their opponent. If you're stuck to one style and you have to make your opponent adapt to you, it's kind of boring, from a fan's perspective. Because look, I don't know the insides of the business like you. I don't know everything, all the tricks of the trade that you guys do. But what I do know is a fight. I do know what it's supposed to look like when somebody's whooping somebody's ass. And if only one person is meeting in the middle and the other person they're constantly chasing to try to get that other person, from a fan's perspective, is like, why the fuck am I watching this? There's no point to it. So we've talked about Hybrid. We've talked about who is Drew Who. We've talked about where you want to be in the next 10 years. Let's talk about where you're going to be immediately. What do you have coming up where people can find you, where people should be paying attention for Drew Who at?
Like you just said, I got a Hybrid, one of our shows coming up for the veterans, July 24th. I'm going to be at RCW, River City Wrestling, July 25th. Got a bunch of RCW shows. Kingsville, you name it, man. Pretty sure I'll be there.
So there is a much hyped Mission Pro first ever intergender show coming in August. Mm-hmm. I've already bought my tickets. I'm already bringing my daughter. Is there a chance that we see Drew Who at that Mission Pro show?
I mean, you still got the tickets, right?
Oh yeah,
Well, I guess you have to find out.
I like that. I like that. I'm definitely gonna be there. Um, so where I have your Twitter and everything scrolling on the bottom, so people can follow you on your socials and everything. Do you have merch coming out, or already out? Where can people find your merch? Where can they go to get hybrid merch? Plug yourself away, brother.
Yeah, man. I'm on prowrestlingtees.com. Just go in the search box, search up Drew Who. I have 5 designs. 4 of them, actually, sorry, 3 of them, I've actually made my own. I've got good reviews about them. So yes, I am at prowrestlingtees.com/Drew Who. I'm trying to make some caps. You can contact me for. I have wristbands as well. 8x10s. So yep, prowrestlingtees.com/Drew Who.
Ryan corrected me in the chat. Not the first ever intergender show. What I meant to say is, since it became an all women's promotion, it's the first time they're having an intergender show. Dude, I'm so excited for where you're going in the future. I'm excited to see not only Drew Who the character, Drew Who the performer, but Drew the person, to see where your limits are and how far you want to go and how far you want to take it. Because honestly, you it, there seems to be a mold that Marvel and Funaki kind of help form you guys in, and it's a fantastic mold. Not that all you guys do things the same or anything like that, but what I mean is, you guys are great people, great in the ring. Um, so the limit, it seems to be, is whatever you want to place the limit at, whether that's stopping in 10 years or having a Shawn Michaels career. It seems to be all in your court. So for me, dude, I'm super excited to see where you go. Um, I will tell you right now, I would love, absolutely, goddamn love to see you in ROH, because ROH is doing stupid good things right now. Shane Taylor Promotions, they've got the women's title tournament doing. ROH would be amazing. Like, honestly, what's funny is every time, like, talking to you, the match that comes to my head, and I don't know if you even watch ROH, if you know really the tag teams over there. I don't know your tag team status or who you would choose as a partner, but I would love to see you fight the Briscoes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Just because those guys are fucking insane. MLW, Ryan said MLW too. Whew, those guys are doing big things. But yeah, dude, to see you, if you have a partner in mind, you can name them now. Against the Briscoes would be dope.
Shoot, man, I feel like that type of match. I feel like me and Chip Garrison go at it with them.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Before we let you go, what I want to get your opinion on is up and comers from hybrid. People that I, as somebody who kind of reviews the sport of wrestling, who loves the sport of wrestling, who should I be keeping my eye on coming out of hybrid?
Like people who are working now, or just people who are just
People who are working, people who are training, doesn't, either one. I've had great experience with everybody from hybrid, so either one.
well, actually, I'll just go to the people that you never heard of, honestly. We got people, I guess you can say, under development, whatever. We got Diego, we got Terrence, we got David. We got a whole new section, a whole new crew coming up, and we got Candice Michelle. Man, that's what 5, 6 people. I wasn't good at math, so so other than that, obviously Brandon, Casey, Trinidad, Alexander, Case, Casey, Kiki Vibes, man, a lot of people. I mean, that's like a full roster right there, man. So
I mean, you guys have great shit coming out. You guys have had amazing talent give seminars at Hybrid. Very last question. I asked you what's one thing that your coaches have taught you that you'll always remember outside of the slowdown. If there's advice that you could give to somebody who's coming up, who's in your shoes from a couple years ago, besides the slowdown, what's the biggest piece of advice that you could give somebody who's up and coming to help make them successful?
goes back to what I said earlier. Confidence is the key to everything. I didn't know what that meant until I started watching MMA. Actually, I'm a huge mark for Conor McGregor. Hope he gets better soon. But yeah, I didn't know what confidence was outside until I started watching him. And it took me a while to get to put that in the ring, put that together. But man, yeah, he's cocky, but hey, he can back it up, right? Obviously, soon he really can't back it up. But he, when he was in, I guess you could say his prime, he always backed it up. He always had that confidence. Even when he got signed to the UFC, he was hella confident. So yeah, confidence is the key. If you don't have the confidence, then honestly, then why are you here?
I agree. Guys, Ryan, thanks for coming in and being in the chat. Thanks for jumping over from Mission Pro's live stream. Everybody watching, everybody listening, if you're listening to this later on, follow Drew on Twitter @_DrewWho, on Instagram, DrewWho20. Follow me on Twitter @chaos_theory_pod. Follow me on Instagram, KingChaos210. There is new merch for your boy at teespring.com. I just rolled out a new Chaos Club Worldwide design, which I'm going to put on the screen now so you guys can see. Join the Chaos Club. Support Hybrid School of Wrestling. Support Drew Who. Support indie wrestling. Guys, if you want this wrestling business to continue after the deaths of the major figures, Vince McMahon, I'm not calling anybody out, saying that I want anybody to die, but if you want wrestling to continue, support indie wrestling, support local wrestlers, show them that you love what they do. Thank you for listening. As always, I love you guys. You mean the absolute fucking world to me. And remember, chaos is life, and life is chaos.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode.